I too want to thank all the companies that have made the meeting possible. Thanks to Bank of California, Coca-Cola, Cox Enterprises, Delta Airlines, Kresge Foundation, Pete Peterson Foundation, Southern Company, Toyota North America, the AFT, the American Federation of Teachers, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, Freeport McMoran, United Parcel, AVCO Worldwide, and Invesco. You know, we began this project in 2011 when the country was beginning to clearly move away from the worst crash since the Great Depression. And when it was obvious that even though we weren't going to have a Great Depression, it was going to be a long road back for many, many Americans. We decided that the CGI model, which was working around the world, and which is now helped in some form or fashion more than 400 million people in 180 countries, might work in America. And there was a lot of hunger for it. So now we bring people together here every year, business, labor, community groups, large and small NGOs, philanthropies, governments at every level. Even in a political season, as you can see, there is a lot of hunger for working together. And one of the best examples, and one which you'll hear more about in a few minutes, last year at our meeting in Denver, we gathered about 20 partners at the request of Mayor Mike Duggan of Detroit to try to solve one of his city's homeownership challenges. We had regional banks, local nonprofits, national foundations, government at every level. For 3 days, they held up and hammered out a breakthrough solution to have 1,000 people buy and rehabilitate their homes in Detroit. Many of the partners are located just a few miles from one another in the city, but they had never met as a group until they became part of CGI America. That's what this meeting is all about. And another of my favorite commitments, in 2011, the AFL-CIO, the American Federation of Teachers, and North America's building trades unions made a commitment to allocate and deploy $10 billion over 5 years to invest in infrastructure and energy efficient projects. Those years have now passed, and this is what they have done. They have now allocated $14.5 billion, invested almost $12.5 billion, and already created more than 100,000 jobs. The work everyone in this room has done and will continue to do, one commitment to action at a time, is making a difference. So far, our participants have made more than 500 commitments, created or filled more than 320,000 jobs. And I think that filled is important. There are still unbelievable numbers of job openings for skilled welders in southern Louisiana. Just in southern Louisiana. I was there last year to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Katrina, and I was standing with the mayor of New Orleans in the lower Ninth Ward. And I said, they tell me there are tens of thousands of openings for skilled welders just between here and the Gulf of Mexico. Can that possibly be true? He said, yeah, and I can fill every one of them within 3 blocks of here, if we had the proper training and the pipeline to feed them in. I spoke with some people last night who are training people who are getting out of prison to go to work. And he was talking about what amazing successes they'd had and how many more could be trained in place if we organized the pipeline to do so. So, we have a lot to build on. I wanted to say just one other thing. The idea of that we could actually band together to solve problems and seize opportunities may seem rather Pollyanna in the rather bizarre circumstances which exist not just in America but all across the world. A lot of crazy things happening, and public life today in every country. But there are objective realities behind it, which we all have both the power and the responsibility to alter. A terrible crash